Hi, it's Martin Seville, Empowerment Coach at Empathy Coaching. And today, I'd like to talk about bad habits. Okay, this week we've been taking a little delve into, on Monday we talked about workload. And yesterday we talked about time and knowing when to stop. And today, bad habits. Now, what do I mean by that? It's the things that either increasing your stress or reducing your productivity through your working day. And you might not even realize that you're doing these things or that they're actually having that impact on you. So that's what we're going to talk about today in a quick video. And let's just recap. Who are we talking about? We're talking about those hardworking, conscientious managers in financial services industry, which is where I came from, managers in equally as demanding industries, or maybe you manage your own business because you've set one up like I did with my coaching business. You want to do a good job, you want to make a difference, you want to be rewarded and acknowledged for doing that good job, and you want to provide for your family and have the lifestyle that you guys deserve. That is fair enough. That is fine, but there are two things that are getting in your way. The fact is you're stressed and you're overwhelmed, and that tends to be about the amount of work that you've got, the amount of stuff that's on that to-do list, and that level of responsibility that you've got. And you're struggling to manage that. You've tried different things, but it is now a bit of a struggle, and you're feeling it, and you're probably exhausted as a result of it. Now, yesterday, actually, we got to the conclusion that working long hours is not only a default that we all go through to get more done, but actually it becomes a bad habit. So I'm going to put that one to one side, but mark that down as a bad habit. I want to talk about mornings, okay? And actually, there's two things that hopefully I can get covered here. One, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Not a trick question. And chances are your alarm goes off. Your alarm on your phone? Probably. Okay? This is going to resonate with some of you, not all of you, but just bear with me, okay? Okay, so you turn the alarm off your phone. What do you do then? Now, if you're anything like I was when I was stressed and overwhelmed, the chances are you're not going to leap out of bed with a 100% energy, with a great big smile on your face saying, bring on the day. If you're stressed and you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted. Even though you've just had however many hours sleep, it's probably not been good sleep. It's probably been not enough sleep. So you're going to wake up tired and exhausted, okay? And remember, we're stressed and overwhelmed. That doesn't go away, okay? We're gonna be feeling that for the day that's ahead of us. We're gonna be feeling, how on earth are we gonna get through all this day? How am I gonna get through all the work that I've got on? Okay? So you're actually gonna wake up like that. Now you're gonna turn that alarm off. Now, do you then just pick up that phone and start checking your messages, checking your emails, going through social media, looking at the news? And so for however many minutes, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it might be, 1 or 2 minutes, you're then looking at your phone straight away. Because I know that many of you do, and actually it was a habit that I got into. You know what? It's not a healthy one. You've just woken up. You're exhausted. You're tired. You're stressed. You're overwhelmed. Your brain has not yet woken up. You've just been woken up, but that doesn't mean that you are awake. So your body and your mind are still waking up. Okay, and then what you'll do is then you'll bombard it with all that lovely blue light that people talk about. But even that aside, because that's like stimulating your brain, but then you're scrolling through, so there's all that imagery, there's all the text, there's all that input that's then being put into you, okay? At a time when you are not fully awake, your poor brain is like, where am I? And you're bombarding it with all this stuff. And guess what? It only takes 1 or 2 things. Maybe a message chasing something up, or even a bad news item, okay? And all of a sudden, that impacts your mood hugely, okay? All of a sudden, especially if it's messages, and you're going, oh my God, I got that today, oh, I've forgotten about that, or, oh yeah, I've got to do that, that's a reminder. Even if it's reminding you of something you already know about, you're like, oh, I'm on the back foot. And all of a sudden, you've got, not only are you exhausted, tired, stressed and overwhelmed, you're now completely anxious now, and you've got that tightness in your chest, maybe even feeling sick to your stomach, and you're thinking, oh my God. All from the fact that you picked up your phone and started looking at stuff. And when you're actually under that sort of pressure and you're in that mindset, like I said, it actually doesn't even have to be work related. It can be something has happened, some disaster has happened in the world, and that negativity has a big impact on you. And it used to have a huge impact on me. Who needs that in their life in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of their day? Especially when you're already struggling with things. You do not need that. It is a habit. And I tell you, for people that do that regularly, pick up their phone, start straight away, try not to do it. And you'll see just how difficult it is. You'll struggle. Oh, I need to check my phone. I really ought to check my phone. How about you try not to check your phone until you're up, showered, dressed, had your breakfast, kids are off to school, and you're off to work. How about checking your phone just before you go to work? Or even check your phone when you're at work, when you've reached work. What's that, an hour maybe? Maybe an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. Try doing that. And I tell you what, it's a huge ask. It's a huge challenge. Now, I'm not saying don't look at your phone for the first 2 hours, but I know people that for the first 20 minutes, for the first 30 minutes, or even an hour, they don't look at their phone. They get everything else in order before they bombard themselves with all that technological onslaught. And I tell you what, it helps. I know you're already stressed, overwhelmed, and you're tired, but without that added bit, it does help you get through the morning. From my experience, the mornings were the most demanding and the most stressful part of the day. And not just because of that, because of one other thing actually, which is about meetings. The bad habit of accepting every meeting under the sun because you were invited to it. So by the fact that you were invited to it means you must be needed there. Don't put your belief in somebody else all the time. Because the chances are you've been added to that list along with a load of other people, and sometimes you are not needed. Maybe you are only needed for 5 minutes. But the most important thing right now for mornings, and a trap that I fell into, was accepting early morning meetings. Now, I had to get my children to school, so I was juggling 8:30 calls whilst taking my children to school, partway in the car, then running with them to the door to try and get them in on time, which was a stress in itself, whilst trying to juggle a conference call, then running back to the car, then having the conference call on the way to work. All right, what? It was absolutely horrific. It was at a horrific time. And then my manager at the time, because I explained what was going on, he said, I don't want you going to the meetings. Decline the meetings. Just like your to-do list, there is always going to be more meetings than you can ever go to. You've got to be selective. And I can cover it in other things, be selective about actually, are you physically needed in that meeting? But also, if the time doesn't suit you, the time doesn't suit you. If you are doing other things, especially if it's kind of outside those work hour brackets, that's your time, that's your choice. Don't add to the extra stress. What you can do is decline politely. You could get somebody in who is available to go to the meeting, or, like I did many times, after the meeting or the following day or when you get to work, you speak to the person that was chairing the meeting. You get a quick update, and guess what? The quick update's like 2 minutes and you're done. And you've not had to have all that stress. So the bad habits of picking up that phone, I challenge you, try it. Try it for first 5 or 10 minutes to begin with. And also the bad habit of accepting meetings, especially when they clash with stuff that is important to you personally and your family. And not even just important, but is actually part of your daily routine. So I hope this has been helpful. I look forward to speaking to you in the next video, which is going to be about sleep. Thanks.